mid, very mid, which really sucks to say because I was genuinely excited to see this movie, especially after watching Superman. That film I thought was amazing and was one of my favorite movies of last year. It got me really excited for the future of DC, and I still am looking forward to stuff like Clayface and Man of Tomorrow. It's not like now after watching Supergirl everything is ruined, but man, what a major step backwards this movie is from Superman. This video will be my fresh out-of-theater thoughts, although it's already been a week since I've seen it, so it's not so fresh. Finals have been keeping me busy. But this video will be pretty short and may have some spoilers, not major ones, but I'm just gonna throw that out there, so let's start with the positives. Millie Alcock's performance was pretty solid. I didn't really love Supergirl as a character, but I do think that Millie did a good job with the material she was given. It's not her fault that this movie is the way it is. Unfortunately, she was under fire for some comments she made, basically saying that women in major franchises catch a lot of shit for existing, which, by the way, she isn't wrong. This happens all the time with female actresses in lead roles like Brie Larson, Rachel Ziegler, Halle Bailey. Now the same is being done with Millie. Even before she said anything, but now that she did, all people are doing is just proving her point. So I just wanted to get that out there. I didn't like Supergirl, but not because of her. Another positive about this film is Lobo. He's not in the movie for super long, and he's only in 2 action sequences, but whenever he's on screen, he's amazing. Superman also shows up here and there. Some of the better parts of the movie are when he's on screen, as well as Supergirl's backstory, which was done really well, I feel like. Because her parents actually survived Krypton blowing up, so them and a small portion of the population were able to survive and continue thriving for a couple of decades until radiation poisoning from kryptonite finished off the rest of Kara's species. That's why her dad sends her and Krypto to Earth where her cousin Clark is so that they can reunite. And another thing I liked about this movie is how different they make Supergirl from Superman. I'm gonna be real, I always assumed that Supergirl was just gender-bent Superman and had the same personality and ideals as her cousin. I think that the CW show sort of reinforced this. But I've come to learn that that's not the case. I found that out before I saw this, but I do really like the difference between Clark and Kara. Clark is more helpful and optimistic, while Kara is more jaded and cynical. And there's even a really good line in the trailer about how her cousin sees the good in people, but she sees the truth.
He sees the good in everyone, and I see the truth.
Which was a line that was probably made for the trailer because the delivery in the movie just did not carry that same impact, but another example would be how Kara isn't afraid to kill. She doesn't want the kid, Ruth, to kill the bad guy, which I'll get into a sec, but unlike Clark, she doesn't have a no-kill rule, and when she's interrogating some pirates, they ask, well, what do I get out of this? And Supergirl just says, an intact spinal cord. So overall, they made a clear distinction between Clark and Kara that I appreciated. That's about it for the positives. Now, onto the negatives, the visuals. Now, I've never read the comic that this movie is based off of, but every still I've seen from Woman of Tomorrow, I'm like, wow, this is very colorful and it looks great. The complete opposite of this movie's look. Everything here is so dull and gray, and some of the CGI here and there looks pretty wonky as well. Overall, it's just a visually ugly film. I remember when the Superman trailer dropped and everyone was like, finally, a superhero movie with color grading, this looks so bright and good. And one movie later, it looks like a generic bad superhero movie from a few years ago. What happened? I know that this movie wasn't directed by James Gunn though, which leads me to my next point. If you aren't James Gunn, don't make a James Gunn movie. Supergirl really wants to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's an epic space adventure with cool rock music and a sort of edgier protagonist. I don't have a problem with superhero movies using licensed music. It didn't even bother me that much here, even though I do think it was pretty excessive and unneeded. However, one needle drop near the end of this film is especially terrible. You've probably already seen people making fun of it on Twitter. I'm not gonna say which song was used because I just need you to discover it for yourself. I need you to feel exactly how I felt in the theater when this song played, and what is supposed to be the climax of the film. I also just don't think that this movie's writing is amazing, to be honest. Supergirl, I think, is a fine character, but I do think that her not wanting Ruth to kill the bad guy could have been a decent plot point, but I feel as if it was pretty underdeveloped and sort of came out of nowhere, it feels like. And I understand that Supergirl doesn't want this girl's innocence taken away by killing someone, but it feels pretty rushed, and not only that, there was a point in the movie where the girl had the cleanest shot on the bad guy, but Supergirl swoops in to prevent her from doing that, and because of that, the villain kills some innocent people, and the girl is rightfully pissed because those lives could have been saved had she killed Krem. I also think that in terms of Supergirl's powers, it is cool that they expand on Kryptonians a bit, like how under a yellow sun, that's when they're powerful, but when they're under a red sun, that's when they're weaker. It's a cool idea, bad execution though. If anything, it just makes the stakes not feel as huge because you know that they're just gonna switch the solar systems. Like, even when she's on a planet with a green sun, it switches to a yellow sun because the planet has two different solar systems, so she's all powered up to fight the villain. Who, by the way, the villain in this movie, Krem, one of the worst superhero movie villains we've gotten in recent memory. I guarantee nobody will even remember this character a few hours after they watch the film. He's very similar to a Phase 2 villain like Malekith or Ronin. He has a very unappealing design and is a boring two-dimensional character, and he just doesn't feel like that much of a threat because he only fights Supergirl whenever she's in a nerfed state. It never feels like he could actually take on Supergirl without the suns. And I'm not saying that he needs to be as strong as her. Lex is just a normal human without powers, but it was his money, influence, and power that made him into such a threat as Superman. Krem has none of that, he's just a guy. So yeah, I didn't really like Supergirl, unfortunately. Like I said, I was really hyped for this, and there are things to like about this movie, like Lobo or even whenever Crypto is on screen. But I was left mostly disappointed, and I'm recording this long after I've seen the movie, but I'm still dumbfounded by the song they used in the end. I think I would give this film a 5. I think the movie's visuals and writing really dragged us down, and I feel bad for the people who read Woman of Tomorrow wanting a great adaptation of such a beloved comic. This movie is nowhere near as bad as some of the other bad superhero movies we've gotten this decade, especially not some of the trash we got from the old DC cinematic universe. But I do think going forward, more could be done for these future DC projects. Maybe James Gunn can step in every now and then because he is the producer. He didn't direct this movie, but he did read the script and approve his version of the movie, even though it's just not really good. So hopefully this reevaluates some things that are going on there because it seems like anything gets approved, and I like that James wants everyone to have their own creative control, but I think there should be a limit to that. And I think Supergirl is proof of that, but that's just coming from me who didn't really like the movie. And I'm curious to know, what do you guys think of the movie? So whatever thoughts you have, positive or negative, you can comment below, and if you made it till the end, I just want to say thanks, and hopefully you stick around for other videos that I make.